Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. I have 45 minutes because usually I delete my videos. I haven't been doing that. My name is Brian Jennings, this is my channel. This channel exists for a myriad of reasons, right? And it was created to discuss the nature of my relationship with Quentin Tarantino. Quentin Tarantino set me up to be a movie star in his way, and I turned my back on a career in the movies, an instant movie star last year. Something about it just seemed, right? I have my reasons, and I'll touch more on that when I read his letter I wrote to Christopher Nolan's agent. And so from then, right, I was arrogant for a time because I sent him a scene, and I know that he's using it. It's a badass scene. But in his mind, he saw it as an excuse to destroy me, and has been embroiled in said campaign ever since. I'm a classical actor. I care about playing Hamlet. 'Tis dangerous when the baser nature comes between the felon pass insensate points of mighty opposites. In acting, I have this idea, it's called an environmental, where you're doing something on top of the scene. A lot of times people will eat. Or they're running, or it's just like a layer, it's texture, it textures the scene. Like I always thought that the first scene where Hamlet is in it would be funny if he was throwing darts as hard as he can against the board, because he doesn't say anything for like 10 minutes. And Claudius can be all pissed off because it's really loud. He's grieving. But this is my environmental, gluing. If you recall, anyone who's been watching these videos, which is not a lot of people, but someone, that I have a specific worldview, and so we discuss the worldview as it is in relation to my condition with Quentin. And so I'm putting together all of the models in this book, Spherical Models. And so the process when I put together these models, and this is just my desire, is that I cut them all out of paper and then I glue them onto poster board and then I cut them out again, rather than going all the way down the poster board and like outlining. Nah, it's fine. Then I just cut out the whole piece of paper in the cardstock. And so now we're doing the rhombi truncated icosahedron, which is the most sophisticated one yet. 720 faces. No, 720 triangles, pardon me. It's I don't know how many faces, but it's a lot of faces. It's like 70 or 80 faces. And so it's, what is it? It's 240 triangles for each of the polygons, and there's 3 different polygons. There's hexagons, decagons, and I can't remember, but there's 3 of them. And so I drew it out on a circle. If you recall, I have this method of putting them in a circle, and the end result looks something like this. This is the vector equilibrium, cube octahedron. Triangles are gray, and the squares are black. And then here's the most sophisticated one, which was the most recent one. And I can't even remember what this is called, but I think it's just the rhombi icosahedron, because it's the 12 pentagonal faces of the pentagon, the 20 triangular faces of the icosahedron, surrounded by squares. And so this is an Archimedean solid. So it's about the harmony that it embeds within the student, right? It's not about anything, right? It's about the philosophy of it. And so let's get into that, why don't we? You can say that life has no meaning. And it surprises me how many philosophy students have such a nihilistic attitude. I mean, I do not believe that to be true. If life has no meaning, then it would not appear to be meaningful, would it? Right? So, it's like I said in my last video, there's a line. It's the horizon of your ignorance. And the mystery traditions are divided into two schools. The first of which is the question, who, what, when, where. Right? You can answer all of those, but the why, you never can. Right? And so that's, right? The closer you get to it, the wider it gets, because you're closer to the edge. But you'll never go over it, right? There'll always be a piece, not the whole. A piece can never understand the whole, but it can be a good piece. And the greater mysteries is the answer. The answer is that you can never know why life exists in such a harmonic, beautiful state. But you can know what is occurring. Right? That what allows it to operate, and that's one thing, which is love, which is giving. This is not up for debate. Right? The sun has no concern for what it receives. It gives and gives and gives of itself unconditionally. Right? So, that tells me everything that I need to know. That life is an amalgam of an abstract intellectual quality or principle. Right? That divides itself into two principal foundations, which brings us back to where we are now with my environmental. The first of which is the impetus for motion, which I often refer to as the divine light of deity. But really, it is an emanation, as they say in the Kabbalah. It's not truly God. God the Father is stillness. It is a pure abstraction which can never be manifested. Right? Plato's allegory of the cave. All things reside as idea. Right? But the impetus for motion exists diffused as a conscious field within every cubic centimeter of space, which is a quantum hologram. And inside of that hologram is the geometric electric archetype for everything that has been, is, or will be. Right? And so this is Pribram and Bohn's holographic model. If anyone's interested in the science, this is objective science. This is not New Age science. That can never be proven. Right? Not yet, at least. So, inevitably, the Divine Almighty seeks to express its knowing and impinges upon the quantum hologram with the force of giving, of love. It gives and exerts a pressure upon it. And if this is a piece of it, right? If this is the whole universe, right? The specific angle, if we throw a circle around this, that's a great circle because it bisects the volume of the sphere. All 360 degrees are potential vectors of pressure, which will engender a novel material expression. As the pressure is exerted, the form collapses, right? Until the electric resistance, which is engendered through space grating its friction against itself, becomes so high that it can no longer remain in inert space and erupts into incandescent as matter. So there's an infinite array of great circles that can go around this, each with 360 potential degrees or vectors, right, of giving, of love, right? This is the window, this is the aperture into the dignity of God's omniscience, right? That we can never know the whole. We can know parts, right? We can see the vectors, right? But to understand the whole thing, right? Always and forever, a leap of faith. So, as the divine plan unfolds according to its own dignity, inevitably we arrive at atmospheric strata, mineral, vegetable, animal, man. Man is the end of evolution because it is the only form which betrays the design of its backbone, stands upright, looks up at the stars, and has its hands to make new things just like God. I suspect that religion must be a necessary reflex. For the world is so mysterious, and we can never know the whole thing. But man, in his loincloth and his animal skins, looking up at the heavens, he sees Orion. He says, "Oh, that looks like me. I must come from up there." Right? And so, the highest levels of the organic biological unfolding of life is man, woman, right? Each equal in dignity under the eyes of God. Some say women are higher in dignity because they're the only ones that go into active covenants with God to create. The highest level of man is the artist. He that chews up the berries and goes to make something new. And the highest level of the artist is the medium. The first level of clairvoyance is a good artist, is a good writer. Someone who paints a good painting, makes a good model, right? Chews up berries and spits them all over his hand. Writes a good play, Hamlet. Right? The second level is the scholar. Characters like Nicholas Flamel, Sir Walter Raleigh. Well, Nicholas Flamel is a famous alchemist, so we can't really, right? But he was, during his lifetime, he was alleged that he had a great wisdom and was able to transmute things. And why shouldn't we believe them? And Sir Walter Raleigh, of course, is one of the first chemists. He helped a man who got kicked by a horse. He had really bad gangrene, and so he gave him this tonic that he was famous for. It's called the Grand Cordial. And he gave him an enormous dose of it. He broke that gangrene, and he kept living. Right? And so then the highest levels, right, is the psychic. Right? And so the psychic is divided twofold. Right? Light and dark, heaven and hell. Right? When a nun stands over a sick person and prays and fasts, it's the same thing. Right? As when a sorcerer or a witch doctor, voodoo practitioner, right, uses fetishes to try to destroy someone. It's the same idea. Right? So, that's what I've been embroiled in for a long time now. And that leads me perfectly into my letter. I've been writing letters to everyone around him because I'm afraid. I feel that his evil has hit a fever pitch, that he's created this condition that he can't get out of. Right? And so I wrote a letter first to Trey and Anastasia because I've been a fan of fish for a long time, and I wrote them about helping us reconcile. And now this letter is to Dan Aloni, but specifically it's to Christopher Nolan. I decided to write him because his agent was available publicly online. I don't have any money, and he's the director of the DGA. I have to bring everyone into the conversation because I'm in fear for my safety, even right now as I make this. Mr. Aloni, hello. My name is Brian Jennings. Perhaps you have known who I am for some time, as I have been embroiled in a situation with the agency you work for over a year now. But in any event, I feel it necessary to bring everyone into the conversation. So while specifically this is a letter to Christopher Nolan, who you represent, it is also a blanket statement to the peers of Quentin Tarantino. I don't want to write you a 15-page letter, but it is important you understand as much as you need to. No matter what Quentin says to the public, he canceled the film as a result of some letters I sent him, as well as 3 film reviews I posted in protest under hashtag boycott the movie critic. The first 4 letters were sent in June of 23. 4 over the course of 1 week, then I sent no more. I am a classical actor, and pitched me playing the lead in the movie critic. The second flurry were sent in December and January. Quentin will always deny this, but he is a powerful clairvoyant who remote views anyone he wants as a psychic voyeur, which in and of itself is innocent enough. But when I was acting in The Two Gentlemen of Verona and writing backstage the same day the trades published he halted his production, and all the letters came flooding back to my mind, I knew. He halted his production because of my letters. So I started writing again, 8 more letters, though only 6 of them were accepted. Until the trades published, he was reuniting with Brad Pitt until he stopped accepting my mail. After processing it for some 10 days, I wrote a 7,000-word essay over the next 6 weeks or so. And after publishing it, I began reviewing movies in protest. And after I tweeted my 4,500-word review of Gone with the Wind directly to him, he canceled the film the following day. This is what actually happened. From there, he played his games in my mind, him and those around him, for some 7 weeks, refused both of the letters I sent him, and groomed me, essentially, to question him about his book, Cinema Speculation, at a screening of Jackie Brown last June at De Niro Con Tribeca. When it came my time to shine, he refused my letter and turned his back, and unfortunately my cowardice prevailed, and I turned my back as well and left. In no way did I spend all that time and money to fly there and humiliate him and myself. But when he refused my letter again, the 3rd time since canceling the film, I saw something in that action, that rejection of love, of communion and fellowship, of simple honesty, that made me think, though it has only become clear of late, oh, I see, you want to control my mind. He has been trying to destroy me ever since. I acknowledge I overplayed my hand, and I hated myself for months. I did not realize at the time, but I suppose on some level, I did the same thing to him that he did to me. In December and January, during the second flurry of letters, I put all of my hope and trust in him, wrote another 15,000 words, only as often as I could, over the course of 3 weeks, for him to cut the connection he made with me without replying a single sincere word. All psychic bullshit. And while I wasn't thinking that at the time, I cut our connection after he spent all those weeks putting his faith and hope in our connection. He could have just given me a single practical assurance letter, an email, etc., actually telling me what he wanted me to do. And I would have been relaxed and had no reason to turn my back on him as he did on me. Everything that occurred to me between then and now are all the same tactics, and is the subject of my novel, Building a Coven. And it would take far too long to go through all of it. But me, being a trusting guy, I let him crawl all the way into my mind, never assuming anything beyond it being the path to reconciliation. But of course there is no reconciliation. The subsequent year and 4 months have seen Quentin enter into a disgusting campaign, subtle and full of cunning, to try to make me commit suicide as a result of the scene I sent him in December about a writer yelling at people for reading his writing. The movie Critic is about a writer. And that lasted from August to the new year. And then, knowing I will never kill myself, he has descended into dangerous evil, which I will spend some time explaining. It is important to note that the things that people refer to as psychic, clairvoyant, telepathy, telekinesis, psychokinesis, thaumaturgy, remote viewing, are the same things that people refer to as magic and sorcery in years past. Not similar, the exact same. Only the words are different. It is the adept, through intention and will, attempting to fracture the hologram and rearrange it. A remote viewer traverses the hologram. The witch doctor occultist, as well as the holy pious healer, all seek to rearrange the hologram, one towards life, the other towards death. All different branches of the wisdom tree, all intention, thought force, energy, expressed in a multitude of ways for a seemingly infinite array of results. The purest expression of intention is writing a great story, song, poem, making a great painting. It is the channeling of the abstract divinity through the body and out of the hands. The other side of that is crude violence. The next step is akin to chemistry, combining different expressions of life within the hologram to make novel potions such as alcohol or the grand cordial of Sir Walter Raleigh. The other side of that is poison to destroy. The last step is using intention and consciousness to heal the sick, pious holy nuns laying hands and fasting for days on end to heal the sick thereby. And opposing that, far easier and uglier, is using consciousness, intention, to try to annihilate and destroy healthy life out of evil intention, out of greed and avarice. All three can be used together in however many combinations that can exist. So we say that psychic phenomenon is in fact the same occurrence they referred to as magic and sorcery in centuries past. And I say that Quentin Tarantino is in fact one of the most powerful remote viewers in the world. Therefore, Quentin is a powerful occultist who uses his mind as a weapon and a tool for manipulation and control. And anyone who refuses to stoop before the Douglas rage, King Henry IV, Part 2, he tortures with a dangerous, ugly, nasty evil he can and will always deny. This is the position that I find myself in. I have done everything I could to appease his ego, to show my remorse up to and including quitting my job, abandoning all of my possessions, living on the street for 3 months, writing several of my heroes, which he slandered me to, I have no doubt. To no avail. It was all to humiliate me, to compel me to handcuffs. And this is why I am writing you now, to hopefully bring everyone into the conversation, because he is losing his grip. He cannot control the fact that as a result of him and the people around him spending some 200 hours remote viewing me, we have no choice but to accept our condition for what it is, a case study. You need only read his novel for Once Upon a Time. Charles Manson talks to Pussycat the way he talks to me. This is what writers do. How clever. Quentin puts his pastime in a character trait as a character trait for the nastiest man in the 20th century, the true successor to Jack the Ripper. Without going on and on, he uses his mind with hypodermic needles, clay fetishes, diseases, and drugs to torture me and attempt to kill me with black magic, remote viewing. Because he doesn't want to pay me for my scene, and if I am dead, he got it for free, doesn't he? He gets it for free, doesn't he? Maybe he's not using it and is outright evil, but I doubt that. Your agency has become an evil empire through the actions of one client. Please share this with Christopher Nolan. The next step is assassination, and I do not want to die. Sent with love, all the best. So, that's the letter. Very difficult to read. Right? I'm assured. It's not gonna murder me. But it's ugly and dangerous, and there's just nothing good about it, right? And so that's why when I started remote viewing at the new year, and he admitted he has no daughter, it's too long to go into that, but I have a novel, I've written a novel, it's all in there. That's when I realized, like, oh, okay, I see that all of this was to humiliate me and make me want to kill myself. This is all to make me blow my brains out. And so that's why I've been trying to come clean ever since. And it's hard. He's a powerful guy, right? He tells all the press that I'm insane. And so these are the two positions, right? Like, I'm insane and he's evil. And I guess that's what we're going to do forever. But I know that none of them, right? Because he shot this movie. He put my scene in that movie. Are interested in actually going forward with a distribution of some sort of that film, like while I'm saying these things. And so that's why I have to talk about it every day, right? Because if I stop talking about it, then I'm just a guy in the world who hurt him. And he has $300 million and I have nothing. So that's why it's important to share, get the story out. I'm going to leave you with a song. I could keep going for another 20 minutes, but I suppose I'll stop. So, see what's good in your life. Not without its flubs, but that's a good song, isn't it? Like, comment, subscribe, share. Don't forget to hit the notification button. It's time to bring this to an amicable resolution, right? Hopefully he's not pure evil. So, we'll see you next time. God bless.